Check a Pro Joe here on the Check a Pro radio show. I love doing what I do, helping you, the homeowner, find pre-qualified home service providers that are experts in their field. Zachary Zaras is one of those people from Leveled Concrete. Hey, Zachary, how are you?
Living the dream. How about yourself?
Oh, you're catching on? Good. Living the dream. That's great to hear. As you know, I love what you do. I believe in what you do. I believe everybody who's watching this should watch this full video segment because what you do, almost everybody can take advantage of themselves, or they can tell their neighbor about it, because in the greater Houston area, many of us live in neighborhoods, house after house after house, driveway after driveway, sidewalk after sidewalk, pool deck after pool deck. And everybody, I'm telling you, just about everybody has concrete. And over time, there's going to be discrepancies in those concrete pieces or slabs. They tend to move, and you can fix it at Level Concrete, correct?
Yes, we can. We fix all kinds of concrete all day, every day.
And in previous segments, we've talked about the process, but now I want to talk about what can't you guys level in terms of concrete. And so I'll set this up for you a little bit. Let's say somebody has a quadrant on their driveway. Everybody can picture this, where you have that tic-tac-toe, if you will, looking driveway, and you've got these different pieces of concrete. What happens if one of them is badly damaged and there's just many different pieces? Is that likely to have to be replaced, or can you fix that?
It really depends. So it's a great question though. So a lot of times general rule of thumb we say is that the little pieces are less than about 2 foot by 2 foot on average, then we cannot fix it. There are times we fix things that most people would say, hey, that needs replaced, and a lot of other companies would say, hey, you need to replace that as well. But we can often try to fix them. Now, the end result comes into is, again, the cracks will never go away. So it does kind of come into a personal preference of, if I replace it, the cracks are still there. Or if I level it, the cracks are still there. And you get to decide, are you okay with that? Or would you rather have one new piece that doesn't match completely? And so, like we said, about 2 foot by 2 foot, the small pieces, if they're much smaller than that, they're probably not going to move the way you want them to move. But most of the time we fix pretty well damaged surfaces.
And a lot of people don't understand that just because there's a crack or two doesn't mean you guys can't come in with your process and inject foam in there and actually lift everything. And as you said, the crack is always going to be there, but you do fill that crack. You kind of mend it to keep things such as moisture out.
Yes. So we clean those cracks open. We grind them out a little bit, and we apply a silicone. We call it level seal. And so it's a full silicone product. And so silicone does not dry out or dry out or crack or break with UV light. And so we're in Houston, we have a lot of hot summers and a lot of UV light. A lot of the materials you buy at a big box store or other contractors install is a urethane based sealant, which dries out and cracks. So you get a year or two out of them and they start breaking, you have to redo it. So the silicone we use generally can last 5 to 10 years or longer, depending on how well it's taken care of. But we can seal those cracks out, and that prevents water and moisture and dirt and debris from getting down below that concrete. It also helps keep the weeds from growing through the cracks in the joints. So if you don't like pulling the weeds and weed whacking out of your driveway and you want to look clean all the time, or any of your concrete for that matter, the joint seal can help with that.
It's so frustrating, even if you don't have cracks where the joints are. Often during the process of building your driveway or walkway, they put these pieces of wood in for expansion joints. Over time, inevitably, those rot away and leave. And now you've got these cracks, which are okay, but things start to grow through them, and you're letting other things like moisture get closer and closer to the foundation of that piece of concrete. So you do have a solution to fill those.
Yes. So we pull as much of the wood as that's left, and pull as much as we need out, and put our level seal again in there. And so it is a silicone product. It stays slightly below the top of the concrete, so it doesn't get nasty for people driving over it or using it. But it bonds to the concrete. So it's a permanent application, goes in there and it's done. And or it permanently bonds to the concrete. It will eventually require maintenance to be replaced over time. It is a maintenance item, like painting your house or replacing fascias. But once it's in there, it stops those weeds from growing through, stops the water from going through, and it keeps ants and other critters out of the joints and out from underneath your concrete. Ants can do a lot of damage to soil as well. So we see ants going through concrete, through the joints under the concrete, and they're pulling all that dirt out, and they create a little ant mound. And dirt came from somewhere, and it's underneath your concrete. So trying to keep any of that stuff out will help.
I totally understand. I've seen all that happen on my concrete as well. Those ants, it's amazing what the ants can do. And I'm thinking, is my driveway going to just sink into the earth as the ants pull the earth out? And I guess over time, the answer would be absolutely. Zachary, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me today.